All right, Kayla, where are we?
The Long Island Aquarium.
Oh wow, things have really grown in. Which, like, at this scale is even more impressive.
Yeah, so last night I was able to frag some of the green stylos and the yellow varieties up there.
Oh, I do see plenty of purple stylo right there.
There's some purple, yeah. So anywhere you see like the gray epoxy, that's what I just glued in last night. So
I don't know how you dive in here very carefully.
yeah, I leave the tank up top, so it's really just me and the regulator and a wetsuit and a weight belt. So it's more of a careful walk. And then there is more room than it looks, but it is pretty tight in some spots.
That clam is huge. How old is that clam? I remember you saying it last time. It was you've had it for the whole time, right?
No, not the whole time, but I'd say this group is probably about 8 years old.
Wow.
And then I just started a little.
I don't remember that tabling acro. That looks really
No,
good.
that's new. I got that. That was a chunk from Fernando out at Scripps in La Jolla, California. It was just a big slab that was in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
So
That formed an awesome table.
So I just plunked it where the other table rock was, and it's starting to sprout pretty nicely right now.
You got the anthias in, I see.
Yeah. We've added some fish. Just doing everything slowly, not pushing anything. Fish that we had in the snorkel tank out back for the summertime. We have that snorkel tank. So some of the fish from there, when we shut that tank down seasonally, some of those fish came in here. So you'll see some.
How much work is that, setting up a seasonal outdoor tank, breaking it down and picking it back up?
It's a ridiculous amount of work.
That's pretty cool, though. You know, you got an outdoor snorkel tank in New York.
Oh yeah, it is pretty popular.
It's an anthea.
That's the purple square anthias. Yeah, that's the male. That's his sign to his harem that he's the
boss of all the little orange fish that are over there.
We got a little frag table going on here.
That's a cool display.
So we're gonna have to do a graphics, do a graphics explaining corals
Some Hollywood stunner I see. Is that forest fire digi, turbinaria, some Montiporas. What do we got right there? What is that guy? The orange.
Since before it was built. So yeah, I co-founded. So yeah, thanks.
And Joe is still a hobbyist at heart.
So yeah,
Kyla's my grandson.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this used to be a lumber yard we were standing right now.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, the Riverhead Building Supply.
When was this built?
We opened June of 2000. So we're 22nd year. Yeah, I'm not sure what the orange. It's actually like a.
I have something similar. And I'm
piece.
trying to remember what it was called.
I'll think of it in a sec, but yeah, stuff is.
This has come a long way in the 6 short months it's been since I was last here.
Yeah, the last 6 months has been kind of monumental.
And Kayla, is that bubble coral you were looking at?
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah, he's
So
gotten very comfortable.
Yeah, the orange.
Yeah.
Lots of orange Montipora in there.
Are you taking video?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going to leave it rolling.
Yeah, this side's I think I've been focusing a little more time on. But so the Carlson surge just dumped, so the cycle just ended there. But yeah, all the knock on wood, all the stags have really.
They look really good.
From little frags have really grown in.
It's a big plenty.
Like all of the Monty caps is starting to come to. So this whole horseshoe here is going to be one
Loaded
big
with
Monty
caps.
cap. So it's,
Yeah, I can see you're coming around the bend here and a little on the wall.
There, some in the back. So eventually, once they all fill in, this will just be a big horseshoe of multicolored caps.
That's really cool. And it's cool that, I know you said, like, it would have been nice if you did it now, you could have one continuous pane, but the split almost allows you to do 2 separate things with the one tank.
True. Yeah.
where like I can see over there from here, but like
Right.
that's not my focus. My focus is this centerpiece right here,
Mhm.
full of, SPS. You got the staghorns, the monties. There's a giant toadstool in there. Oh, I didn't see the
Yeah.
other clam in there.
Yeah, the other clam. Yeah, the nice thick branching. I don't know whether they're abertinoides or not. There's a reddish one in the front there, and then there's pinkish green one on the far right, and up top, those have.
There's such a
grown
thick branch up there too.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's way back. That's got to be what, 15 feet away from us?
The tank is 14 total, so that's probably a good
8
feet. But yeah, the
That's
abros
solid.
here are really like encrusted down onto the rock.
Mm.
They like to encrust first, and then when they feel like they got a really comfortable foothold, then they'll
off.
sprout. So that's what's happening there.
He upgraded his
And
temperature.
that green table up there, that's a green planet from ORA. So I've had to prune that one back a couple times already, which is
So, I mean, at this point, almost all of this has been long-time aquaculture, right?
yeah. There's very little in here that was purchased. Some of the LPS that you see have been purchased, but all the euphyllias, all the softies, all the caps. Actually, I think the abros, I think, were from Australia originally, but I just started fragging them in the tank and
Oh, wow.
placing them in different spots. So yeah, vast majority of the tank right now is propagated from other aquariums. Sent me a bunch of stuff, which was nice. 2 years old now.
Was that in your home reef previously?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the size of my thumb,
That is awesome.
and I fragged that countless numbers of times. That was actually a piece that I had given to my friend Greg Scheimer, who unfortunately passed. So when we took his tanks down, his family gave it back to me. So there's a lot of good family history there.
So it's an important piece, I would say.
Oh yeah.
And it's got a nice focal point in the center of that little
Thanks.
alcove.
Yeah, when I rebuilt the tank,
we have one of those at home.
I definitely opened up this space more. It was always a lagoonal kind of looking thing, but when I did the rebuild, I opened it up a lot more because I did want to have like a patch reef in the middle of it, up front here with the anemone, and you see a bunch of baby bangais hanging out in there. So to have that openness.
Amazing.
I'm guessing the bangais have been reproducing in here.
Yeah, I started with 3. So
you know for sure they did.
Yes. Yeah, usually along this front ledge, I don't know if we'll get lucky today, but you'll find some baby bangais hanging among the anemones and stuff up here. But
You got all the clownfish.
yeah, again, all captive bred ORA clownfish, all the azure damsels in here, the blue and yellows.
Oh, those are captive bred too?
Yep, those are all ORA.
Oh, wow.
All the Freebani that are in here right now are all captive bred also. And some of the blennies and gobies that are in here. So,
Wow.
yeah, wherever we can,
There's like a ton of stuff now you can get
Selectively.
captive bred,
yeah.
which I think is going to be the saving grace for the hobby at this point. Everybody freaked out with the Hawaii ban, but ultimately, if we can captive breed things, it's better for the environment and the hobby overall.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so we've got some
Somebody molted.
yellow things. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of cleaner shrimp in here. Sea cucumbers, snails.
I think that's my favorite thing with reef tanks is like the longer you look at it, there's always something to find.
Oh, that's the beauty.
Even at home, I'm looking at something I'm like, I don't think I've seen that critter before or something.
Right.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Kyle, over there, there's the cardinal fish.
There's a couple over here too.
The bangai. There's some of the parents there. The
big guys.
Those three right there are the 3 adults.
I usually have a ton. It's funny. I guess last time I didn't see any of the purple stylo, and now I'm seeing it everywhere.
Oh,
Purple stylo was the
Yeah.
first thing that came to mind, and now
Well,
I'm looking
it's-
around it. There.
yeah, it's grown a lot since you were here.
Purple stylo is a great growing coral. I think it's really underrated. Everybody focuses on acros,
Yep.
but
Yep, the milk.
purple stylo is great.
Yep.
I mean, and that green, that's not a green stylo. That's a
I think that's a seriatopore,
That's-
like a rounded one.
yeah.
Yeah, not so much pointy like the pinks are a little bit.
I like how the bird's nest forms like almost like spikes.
Yeah. So that one's been growing well in the current. Yeah, there's always little challenges, of course, because it's a reef tank. But getting ahead of them. When you were here last time, I had those little amphipods that were eating corals.
Yes, I remember you mentioning the monster amphipods.
Yeah.
What'd you do to get rid of those, or at least reduce their population?
They're reduced. Manual treatments, removing corals, dipping them in revive, sometimes breaking them apart because they nest in the center, breaking them apart, and then replanting those frags. And but also I did a bunch of the dragon face pipefish.
Oh, I was going to ask if there were any predators.
There's 2 there, swimming up by the purple milka.
Because I had a brief bout of Montipora eating nudibranchs a couple of years ago, and I did the turkey baster, suck up what I could, and then a yellow chorus wrasse. Mm-hmm. Literally put the chorus wrasse in, never saw one again.
Right. So yeah, I think between the like the pipefish and some of the smaller wrasses that we put in are definitely slowing down the reinfection rate. Mm-hmm. So like this red Ghani, I would have to dip that like every 3 weeks because they would just get swarmed by these amphipods. Knock on wood, I haven't had to touch that in about 3 months.
Oh, that's good. And eventually you dwindle their population down to like nuisance level, or
correct, just like acre-eating flatworms. See, they can handle some of them. They just can't handle a lot of them. So there's always going to be some of those amphipods in here, but it's
you're never going to have a sterile environment.
Keeping them to an absolute minimum.
People panic when they hear acropora eating flatworms, and I think at least I luckily have avoided them. But like with the nudibranchs, like my first thought was like, oh no, it's going to eat my coral, and then my next thought was like, wait a minute, don't panic. Yeah. Breathe. Like these things do exist in the wild. The natural environment has a way to handle them. Yeah. Which was a predator, and while the home aquarium doesn't quite scale the way nature does, it can be managed without full blown nuking your tank.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have enough medication to treat this tank for those amphipods, but I've just been holding it in reserve, just in case.
The risks go up exponentially. I think of I'm worried about nuking at 180, and we're talking 20,000 gallons here.
Yeah. So I've got it in reserve, but over the few months I've been able to get ahead of them. So I'm confident that I'll get it to the point that they're not an issue.
So I still have some of the videos from the last time to kind of do like here's what the reef looked like 6 months ago.
Okay.
And how fast this grew in.
Yeah, and I've been lucky. Some areas I've been fragging already, which has been great, especially on the Monty caps up. But
Monty caps are probably one of my best growers too. Like I'm getting to the point where it's actually getting crowded. I'm like, I got to give this stuff away. Like somebody please take some Montipora.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and I needed stuff that grew fast to
fill it in.
I'm on a public facility.
Yeah, people want to come here and see something, so you need fast growers.
So nice to get the different colors going. I love the contrast, especially with the purple. Monty cap is really.
I was just saying, you see some purple snuck under there.
Oh, so Kyle got a clam.
I did get a clam.
Yes, and everything is good. Knock on wood. Because I remember what you said. Happy as a clam.
Is a lie. Happy as a clam is a lie.
Whoever said that never dealt with Tridacnus.
It's been good. It has been looking very good.
So this is the Carlson dumping now. So you'll start seeing all the Gorgonia and stuff waving around. So I do leave some softies among the stonies because I want people to see
movement,
the flow. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of sticks, right?
And unfortunately, the general public is like, oh, colorful rocks.
Right. So and that's the end of the cycle there, and it'll fill back up again in about 8 or 9 minutes, and then it'll dump that 300
That's the primary
gallons.
source of flow, right?
Primary really is the Hydro Wizard. I've got the big Hydro Wizard in the back corner.
Those.
So I've got that pulsing every 1.7 seconds. So you can, like the Gorgonia that are along the back there, you can see some of the flow from
kind of just leaning.
Yeah. and I'll vary that flow to be 100%, or I'll pulse it even quicker to get like a more of a rocking kind of thing. But right now, it's just kind of oscillating the tank like a seesaw. So it's
Just to some shifting flow.
yeah.
That's cool.
That's kind of the main flow at the moment, and I do have a brand new Abyss. Alex donated I think it's the Abyss 1200. It's a monster.
Those are monster pumps.
Yeah, so I actually have to reinforce the decking.
I always get a
Before I-
chuckle when
before I
I'm
put
on
that
like
on.
BRS and I see like all the Abyss pumps. I'm like, who's putting this in their house?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll show you this one. This one is I think it'll be something you haven't seen before.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like a $20,000 pump that they
Oh,
donated to.
cow.
So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Abyss.
So, yes, yeah. Alex.
They do make good pumps. Every time I see a video of like watching like, the flow generated by these things, like these are industrial.
Oh, absolutely. And the guarantees that they come with, and the safety guidelines they come with.
Like when you think of German engineering.
Well, that's what I joke with them when I'm over there, because they laugh when I say, in America we use the term German engineering as like with cars and things.
Yep.
Like that's like a selling point, and they just laugh. Like, no,
It's a fish pump,
we
like-
kind of suck too. Like,
At least they're honest.
But they were just really surprised that we would actually use the like as a selling point we would use German engineering. So
Oh, they're great pumps.
but they do make a great pump, and there's a lot of safety. I'm just trying to find it. Just a memory just popped up.
Do you want me to stop so that we can read?
We'll cut.
So
stuff
here's
out.
this is
Oh, this rock right here.
that piece 1 year ago.
That's come a long way.
Wow. That's amazing.
I mean, everything's come a long way,
So that's I was like, oh,
and it's
okay.
much more dramatic at this scale.
That stag branching acro, and I didn't really think it had grown that much, but then I realized it easily fit in a 5-gallon bucket.
When it got here,
When he brought it here, it just slid in, and I found an old picture of it, and I was like, oh, yes, that's grown a little, and because all the stuff to the left of it is frags from it, also.
that's
It's
awesome.
It's a nice acro. It's got nice bluish tips there.
This is already grown in so much, and it's not even like over here on this side. You can kind of see there is plenty of room for growing.
Yeah. The turbine areas, I leave plenty of room for growth. I definitely want to get some more LPS in. Again, as much captive bred stuff as possible. The brain coil on the back there, the Diploastria with those polyps.
Yep.
It's actually dropping off a daughter colony on the lower right. So
Oh, I kinda see that.
thing hanging down. So that's a whole new an individual. So they drop off.
And wherever that
miniature versions.
lands,
Yeah, I'm gonna go in and snip it.
Mhm.
It's like a loose tooth, like it's
I feel like just come on, let's
just
go.
when it's just about ready to go, you can go in and snip it, and then just
That's really
transplant
cool.
that
Looks
onto.
like they recognize you.
Well, they're like waiting for the breakfast.
Oh.
I was gonna say Joe's got to be the most familiar
So-
face these fish see.
Yeah.
I
So
love how
these
big the
guys, the
sailfish is.
rabbitfish and the unicorn, and I'm so bad with names. They were a donation from Long Island Reefer as well.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned it got too. I mean, and that fish is huge.
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
big
imagine
when I
what it was
got
in
it.
before.
Yeah. So they've settled in nicely, and and this was another nice acro. Again, I can't remember the reef keeper's name from.
Where does someone who works and lives with a reef all day long, every day, where do you go on vacation then? Because I'm excited, we're gonna go to Hawaii. Like,
Right.
I want to see more reef. But
Yeah, I never tire of reef. Yeah, vacation really anywhere. I mean, tonight after work, I'm going to the beach. I mean, sun's
Nice.
out, and I'm
Eat,
gonna go
sleep,
see
breathe,
if I can
beach.
find some cool stuff to photograph. And so that's been a big distraction for me, is getting into photography. But yeah, it's there's a couple of small flamingo tangs in here now too. So I've always liked them. So.
Is that a jump tang or no?
no.
No, what is that?
Which one are you
No.
pointing at?
The polka dot tang over there?
Oh, is that a soho? Oh, just swam off.
The one that just came. This is a.
That one, yeah.
They call them a black-eared tang. I think it's Gutatus. I don't know my fish very well. It's one that you don't see too often. Yeah, he's great. I love that fish.
A gem is a zebra soma, so it would be related to like you've got this one down here,
Oh yeah.
that different body shape.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, these are the scopus here.
So that's a zebra soma scopus. Then you've got your yellow with purple gem, and there's a couple other zebra soma tanks.
I like that tank up there.
Oh, the Sohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are Red Sea.
Those are cool.
They're probably about 19 years old now.
Wow.
People don't realize how long fish live.
Yeah. We've got. So there's a. Let me read the clownfish tank. I had a mated
That
there.
sparked the thought.
Maroon clowns in there that I took out because they would have been too defensive. Plus, they weren't captive bred. It's hard to see because of the glass, but maybe when I feed, there's an anemone below here. So there's a pair of maroon
Oh,
clowns.
I see it right down there. I don't know if I can tilt this enough.
They're about 26 years old.
I see that.
And they've been together that whole time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Long marriage.
Yeah, it was funny when I put them in this
There
bigger
he is.
tank, I thought maybe like one would go one
They'd
way,
get
one
divorced.
would go to one end of the tank and one would go to the other, like enough's enough.
Yeah.
But
No, they're right there.
they cruised around for a while. I think the female was looking for like the suitable spot that she felt was, and
You
I was
just followed.
hoping for one of the other anemones up higher, but there was a bubble tip that settled out down there on its own. That's the one they liked, so that's okay.
Cool.
What do you
Yeah.
smell?
Yeah, like I said, there's still lots of room to play with, which is nice in certain areas.
It's never complete.
No, that's the beauty of a reef tank. It's a never-ending chess match. So,
Who's winning right now?
I will never admit to winning with corals because they will humble you so fast. I'm going to call it a tie right now.
Because it's going well.
Because it's going well. Yeah, I will never say I have the upper hand on a reef tank or reef keeping.
There's so much we don't know.
But I am happy with its progress.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks great.
That's been a good reef because there's stuff in here now that like I wasn't able to grow in this tank for many years, if ever. So for me now, it's exciting to now have species of corals in here that throughout its 22-year history, I wasn't able to grow for whatever reason.
You definitely have to give them a frag.
So
I gotta
now,
find something he doesn't have.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I'm always open to anything. People are thinning out their tanks. Like I just took in a bunch of green caps yesterday. So as you look around, you'll see some other tanks starting to. The staff is really. Some of them know a lot. Some of them have learned a lot, and so the tanks are progressing to being all kind of reef based. Not
To
not
this
all,
extent, but
instead of just having rock and fiberglass corals, we're now doing lots of live corals everywhere. So
oh, that's awesome. Because that's one of the
So-
things, at least I remember previously, was aquariums never had a ton of coral.
no. Initially, none of them had anything.
Then we went up top and behind the scenes to check out some of the equipment that runs the 20,000 gallon reef and other aquarium systems here, but we'll save that for another video. Now we're looking at the anemone tank that will ultimately become home to more soft corals and captive bred fish.
We're going to be transplanting, so we just put in like some yellow polyps and some mushrooms.
Oh, I see those over there. That's pretty cool.
So it'll be a full-blown reef tank eventually, but focusing on the clownfish and the anemones.
That's really cool. We got a huge diversity of them in here too. I see all the different like designer clownfish, sort of.
Like a person
Yeah.
sure.
So YouTube camera? Yeah, that's going to be
Wow,
the theme.
that's really cool. The pink cushion urchins, keeping it clean.
Yeah. We did added some more rock. There was rock work on the sides, but we added more and then fabricated the arch, which I can show you from up top. How we did that. And a few floating islands up there.
I thought they looked. I wasn't sure if there was a reflection. They are floating islands.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah, we wanted to break the surface there because I like the way that looked on the reef tank when we broke the surface there. So
Yeah. So we're up top looking at the clownfish tank.
the rebuild of the clownfish tank.
Oh, that's cool how you did the floating islands. I was wondering how that worked.
So all the rock is hammer drilled, and then fiberglass rod and fiberglass nuts and washers. So there's no metal. And this is lit by a 1,000-watt halide in the center, and then two 400-watt 14K. And then I just recently added these little blue LED strips just for a little bit.
They make the anemones pop a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. Those are the vitaminis. They're pretty powerful, I gotta say. So like when the 1,000 goes off, you can really see their effect. So yeah, so this, because we used to have like a big, we used to shield the back so that no light hit the back wall.
Yep.
So we got rid of that. So yeah, so this will all be mushrooms and other softies and like the green sinularias. And,
Oh, that's cool. That'll have a nice
So-
flowy effect compared
Yeah.
to the other reef.
Yeah, so there'll be lots of softies in here besides the anemones, which will be nice. And the fish population will increase as well. We're kind of keeping it on the low side now, just till it settles in a little bit more.
Yep.
You did a great job.
Yeah, oh, thanks.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah, and then by being able to do the fiberglass rod and stuff, you don't have to have this huge base of rock.
A
to
big
get the
pile
height.
of rock, yeah.
And then the arch kind of frames out the centerpiece, so it's kind of like a giant fat tree in the middle.
And I like how you left that void in the back for flow.
Yeah, so yeah, that's another great thing about using the fiberglass rod, and then working it from the surface down. So like some of the rock on that side,
Yeah, it doesn't go.
it goes from the bottom up and then space and then bottom and then top down. So yeah, so most of a lot of the rock that we used for the rebuild on the perimeter was all good old Marco rock, which was awesome to work with.
It was awesome.
So yeah, so like I said, it's still in its infancy, but corallines are starting and people love it. You hear the kids screaming Nemo all the time.
Yep. Nemo with the anemone.
Yeah.
It's actually out now.
Yes.
They were hiding in the corner.
Well, we'll let you get back to work.
Yeah, I got to go fix a couple of pipes.
Thank you for your time, Joe.
My pleasure. Always
Thank
good
you
to see
so
you guys.
much.
Yeah, anytime. Pleasure to meet you. We'll see you in the shark cage one of these days.
Yes, we'll have to do that next. Thanks,
Go
Joe.
online, check it out. You can do the reservations and
Cool,
stuff.
cool.
We definitely will.
You're doing an awesome job.
Thanks for joining Kayla and I on our trip to the Long Island Aquarium. It is always a pleasure to catch up with Joe, and stay tuned for another video with some behind the scenes footage like you're watching now of the reef tank.